Hey, I'm Jim Search, and welcome to Understanding Upstate. It's a podcast dedicated to exploring what makes upstate New York such a unique place. Each week, my co-host Rob Adler and I dive into a new upstate topic to better understand what's up upstate. And today, we are giving you the scoop on an upstate institution, Stewart's Shops. And that pun was for you, Rob.
Expertly done.
Yeah, that
expertly done.
Listen, Speedy Freaks, if you've come to rely on us for a few things, one, obviously, I hope, is the world of upstate New York, but also expertly crafted puns. And I feel like between Rob and I, we have you covered. So
for the uninitiated, I can't say that word today. Stewart's famous to upstaters, serves some great ice cream.
Sure.
Just like Jim serves great puns.
Ha! That's right, baby. And I may jump ahead a little bit of this, but when I was doing the research on Stewart's here, there is a ice cream called Mint Marcy, which I thought was great because it is a play on Mount Marcy, which is a lot of upstate names. Sure.
In their ice cream.
That is the highest point in New York State, Mount Marcy.
Is it Adirondacks?
That I don't know off the top of my head, but the reason I know that is because Rock Marciano has an album called Mount Marcy.
Ah, okay. It's all coming together.
Who thought hip hop wasn't out here teaching you shit, right? Who thought that?
Not me.
Not you. Now, listen, one thing I do want to say, though, is I do want for you, if you are listening to this podcast, to subscribe, rate, review our show, and share this episode with a friend, okay? Put a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts and let us know your favorite upstate location or person in the review. And I recuse myself from that as a upstate New Yorker.
Sure.
I don't know if you can pick me for that, but you should get in there and leave a fucking review, man. Drop something in there. Yeah. Drop 5 stars. You know, our system's a little broke. You can only leave 5 stars. You can't leave anything less. It's weird. So just, make sure that you do that. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and I'll say we're getting. I just checked the other night, and we got some more 5-star ratings, but we could use some more reviews.
Yeah,
just like throw us a few kind words, if you're able.
Make it worth it. Make it worth. Just give us your social security number. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, tell us.
Oh, give us like 5 of the numbers, and we'll try and guess the other. Make it. Be fun.
Look, if you're not going to give us a social security number, at least tell us where you went to middle school or your favorite pet. Right? Like, your roommate in college, like that sort of thing.
Sure.
Just fun.
Mother's maiden name. Yeah. Just little tidbits about yourself.
Yeah, fun little piece of information. That'd be great.
Well, speaking of fun little pieces of information, we got quite a few about Stewart's Shops here. Should we get into it?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's jump right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Stewart's Shops is an American chain of over 350 convenience stores located primarily in eastern upstate New York. Okay. So I always like to give a frame of reference of how close this is to Binghamton. This is a little bit out of the sphere of influence of my 607, but still upstate New York. And we still want to talk about this. Okay.
Yeah, this was one of the topics I brought.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about it last week, I was surprised to learn that you didn't know what Stewart's was. 'Cause I knew it was an upstate thing, but I didn't know. I had it like, if you're in Albany to Adirondacks regions, they're kind of everywhere, but didn't know how far they really got out there. And it's I
was gonna say it is a little bit like east, like if you like mind's eye of New York State, looks like it's like just like Albany, which is like a stray shot north of New York City, going all the way north, right? Like that eastern side. So you know what? But I'm here to learn along as well. And also, I can't be mad at something that has a Mint Marcy pun. I'm not mad at that. That's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean?
And when I proposed it, I was worried that I like quickly Googled. I was like, oh God, they're probably in like Texas or some shit, and I don't know it. And they like are labeled on their website, like banner, like New York's shop or something.
Oh yeah.
Like they are very New York branded. There's some in like southern Vermont, but like they're pretty much all, like you said, in upstate New York.
Which, yeah, that's good. That's good by this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they are owned by the Dake family. Am I saying that? I'm assuming it's Dake, right?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I was gonna say because there's no R. I almost said Drake, but that's a different podcast.
Sure,
the Dake family. I'm waiting for like the Stewart freaks to be like, actually, it's pronounced. But yeah, you know what? Ring off in the comments. So the Dake family and the employees, that is who owns this company. And I say employees because they have the ESOP, or employee stock ownership plan, commonly known as stock options. And believe it or not, roughly 40% of the company is owned by the employees, which I thought was pretty interesting because then I dove a little bit deeper, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I feel like we can do that here, is because it's our show. Why not? That like there's employees that are millionaires.
Yeah,
right?
I think we read the same article. And like when you say employees, it's like managers of just a local shop have become like
there's
pretty wealthy.
Right. And like there's like definitely millionaires and also people worth, and I know this sounds like, well, so what, but it's like, no, if you're like, there's employees of a company that are worth like over $100,000, and this isn't like tech. This isn't like IBM or Google. This is like a motherfucker who is just like sweeping a floor. It's like, yeah,
these are convenience stores,
right?
Like they're much more than that. Which now I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get into, but yeah, they're just little shops with gas stations, and the employees are
caking it, man.
Yeah, doing pretty good. They're daking it, Jim.
Oh, man. Listen.
There we go.
I hope you guys rewind that one. You better spin that one back. You know what I mean? Now, Stewart's is headquartered in Ballston Spa with a Saratoga Springs address. Okay. The company is well established, particularly in the Capital District, Adirondacks, and the North Country, which is what I was talking about before, like that kind of like Eastern corridor, but called the North Country, within New York. Its footprint stretches as far north as Canada, the Canada-U.S. border, and as far west as Oswego, which again is, you're getting a little bit closer to me. Like I know Oswego a little bit. And as far south as Goshen, which I do know, and the northern fringe of the New York metropolitan area. Okay. Now, they are known for their branded ice cream, potato chips, hard rolls, root beer, milk, coffee.
But not that root beer.
No, not exactly.
Important distinction. There's a Stewart's root beer and there's Stewart shops, and they both have like their logo is like a white cursive type font that looks very similar. They are not the same.
Yeah.
Stewart's root beer's from Ohio. I did the research just to make sure. They're very separate institutions.
So don't walk away from this thinking that. All right. It's not what we're here for. Okay.
We're not understanding Ohio.
No.
We're understanding Upstate.
No. Go around the corner if you want that. You came to a place about Upstate New York, baby. Now, 3/4 of these stores sell gasoline, either their own brand, which is interesting, or partnered with Sunoco. So that is how they're probably making some real fucking money on top of that too, right? In addition to, most feature a small dining area. So let's say you want to take a young lady out on a date. You say, you know what? We're going to Stewart Shops, baby.
Yeah. And I think this is a good place to throw this in. The Stewarts I've been to, which are many and numerous, they're like the further up you go in upstate New York, again, like towards the Adirondacks, North Country, and just the border, like they become more and more like little cultural hubs for like these small towns where like it's just where if you need to pick something up, that's where you go. You need to get a coffee, obviously you need to get gas. That's just the place. But like any directions you get in like Adirondacks, like, oh yeah, it's right by the Stewarts. You're gonna take a left at the Stewarts. Oh yeah, just head to the Stewarts, and like you're gonna, if you need to pick up paper towels or something, like anything like that, everyone make sure you know where the local Stewarts is when you're up there, because they got you covered for anything you might need. It's where you'll like see your neighbors because everything's so much more spread out. Right?
Sure,
like it is just like a convenience store, but again, it's such an upstate convenience store. I don't know how else to describe it. Like they're delightful. I don't know how to put it. And it's the best gas station bathroom you could ever hope.
Really?
Like always clean, spacious, well attended to. It's
I'll say this, right? And I think it's important to point out here that like you can't have like an organization with like, millionaires who are not the top brass and not have like a sparkling clean establishment. Like there are people like you don't make people like that work for you millionaires and 100,000aires and have them mail it in. Like these people are busting their ass on a regular basis. And
Jim, I know this because I was deep on a r/Albany thread where people are talking about this like very topic, and they're like, look, it's like you work for that money. Like it is a tough job. People do burn out.
Right.
But like, if you're able to stick with it, like there are rewards to be had, which is more what they can say at a lot of places that employ people.
Well,
I guess that's a fancy word of saying companies.
Sure, those are places where people work. But like it's to that point of right, like you go to you're on the road, you go to like a 7-Eleven or like a Sunoco or a Getty or whatever, and it's fucking disgusting.
Unless this is not upstate, but you mentioned 7-Eleven. Do you know? Guess what's really big in Denmark?
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. Guess what's a very different experience in Denmark? 7-Eleven. They're nice. They have like I contemplated actually getting the 7-Eleven hot dog there because they looked great, and they had like these fresh baked pastries. Like it's
interesting.
Again, we're not understanding Ohio and we're not understanding Denmark, but just know that 7-Eleven, they're different over there.
Well, this is salient. You were just over there, so
I don't know if this is salient, but it's interesting.
I want it. Well, I want this to be. So, all right. Well, yeah. Well, we'll get back into it, right? Let's talk about how Stewart Shops came to be, the origin. The genesis, if you will. Mm-hmm. All right. Stewart's traces its origins to Percy and Charles Dake taking over the family dairy farm in Middle Grove in 1917. They began making Dake's delicious ice cream, say that 5 times fast, beginning in 1921. All right. 14 years later, the brothers started a Saratoga dairy in an old barn in Saratoga Springs. This move occurred in the same year that New York began requiring all milk to be pasteurized, which I can only imagine probably raises your cost because pasteurizing requires equipment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that is the origin. That's where we start. Now we get into the first generation, right? There's 3 generations. You're like, how many are there? It's like, no, we're only giving you 3. So as the war ended in 1945, the brothers bought an ice cream production facility in Ballston Spa from Donald Stewart. Wonder where this is now coming together. Charles S. Dake, or Charlie V's son, newly discharged from the military and looking for something to do, like, just what do I want to do? Decided to start selling Stewart's ice cream to the public fresh off the line in a factory storefront. So raw, uncut, not stepped on ice cream.
Ooh.
Boom. Here it is. Now, this is considered to be the first Stewart shop. Right, this is like the Graceland of the Stewarts, the flagship store, if you will. The OG. This is the.
We're gonna get to some people that have made a pilgrimage. We'll get there.
Oh my God,
we're really dropping some breadcrumbs for our Speedy Freaks today. But like, there's a considerable Stewart's fandom out there.
I'm very interested to hear more about that, right? Because, and again, we were saying this off mic, but this sounds very like Wegmans-esque, the following. So
yes,
we will get there. All right. So two others quickly followed in Saratoga Springs and South Glens Falls. They were popular since ice cream and other sweet food had been tightly rationed during the war. In 1948, the company introduced the folding paper ice cream carton so customers could bring home fresh ice cream more cheaply. So they are just innovating the ice cream game. That's what we're hearing here, left and right. Now, a notable innovation came from Charlie Dake's wife, Philly Dake, who suggested allowing people to make their own sundaes from a choice of toppings, a practice which continues today and is widely imitated.
Wow, they should have trademarked that.
Often duplicated, never simulated. Whatever.
I know what
you
you're
know
saying.
where I'm going, right? You know what it is. The company's Philly vanilla ice cream is named in her honor. So there you go. Now we move into the second generation. So it's like 59 to 2003. So now we got the second generation of Dakes. Now, the younger Dakes took over the company from his uncle in 1959, and the following year, he brought in his brother, William Bill Dake. The holder of a graduate degree from engineering from Cornell. Way to brag. Okay. Get it. All right, dude.
A fine upstate institution.
Yeah. It's not DeVry. I'll tell you that. It's definitely not ITT Tech. Apparently there's some money. People have become very rich off that school. William,
I'm sure.
William was able to solve some production problems at the dairy, and as a result, it began running at a profit. Now, over the course of the 60s, the new Dake brothers turned the company into one of the East's largest private dairies in the East.
Jim, I have 2 words for you.
All right, go for it.
Vertical integration.
Oh, yeah.
They're very big on their vertical integration. And like you mentioned a little bit earlier, like they make their own gas, right?
Sure.
Like, a big part of Stewart's is they also have their own like dairy production facilities, and they source their dairy product, their like milk and whatnot, from like, I think it's 20 local upstate farms, right? So it's all very much a New York, not just New York, an upstate production.
Right.
Now, they wanted to control production, sales, and distribution. However, and they did this in like 1960, all around at this time, they kind of did it illegally because in 1960 you couldn't, at least in New York State, from what I could tell, like every state had pretty similar laws, but I went deep on this dairy court case. They basically, there was supposed to be a middleman, and that middleman was the milkman, right? This is why milkmen were a thing, because they were, the business was literally being the middleman, delivering the milk from the dairy production facility to people. And Stewart's wanted to sell their own brand of milk, but under this law, it had to go through a middleman that was not owned by them or affiliated with them. And they just kind of did it.
Sure.
They just kind of did it. And if you read their story, they're like, it's like the Perky Milk lawsuit. I don't know where, like, Perky is this like subsidiary milk delivery that they actually owned. But they're like, through the Perky Milk lawsuit, we were able to open up a broad new horizon for milk distribution. And I was like, that's kind of quirky. That's a little weird. Let me look into that.
See what
and
that
I was
means.
like, oh, you guys kind of just got your hands caught. You got caught with your hands in the cookie jar, and you luckily won.
Right.
But it, like, that lawsuit, particularly in New York, it was interesting. They said that ultimately, like, spelt the demise for milkmen. I think there's some other things contributing to that at that time too, but they, big part of why the milkmen ceased to be a thing, at least in New York State. And we'll get back to vertical integration a little bit later, Jim. But they're very big on it. They're very big. That's how they keep, like, costs down, but also keep quality up, which we'll also get into.
And made so many people rich. Because, we have no one else to split the profit with but us. So we're coming to the tail end of the second generation of the Dakes. Charlie Dake dies of cancer in 1978, leaving Bill to carry on the business. Then in 84, Bill's son Gary joins the company, and Bill began grooming him to take over. Now, in the notes, it says grooming, and grooming has such a fucking wild connotation.
You said it, and I wasn't going to pick it up.
I'm going to pick it up.
I wasn't going to touch it.
I'm going to pick it up. Grooming is...
How about developing?
Yeah, developing, you're professionally developing him to take over, right? So a decade later, the company built a new dairy facility and bought out the Bonfair chain, adding 40 more stores in a single stroke. So they are just becoming they're cornering the market, it sounds like, in the East, right? So in the late 90s, it began aggressively expanding out of its base in the Capital District, pushing south into the Mid-Hudson Valley for the first time. Now we get to present day, today, 2003 to present. In 2003, Gary became the president of the company while his father became chairman. And chairman is a nice way of just showing up, cutting ribbons, and, being like, at the benefits and the galas and shit like that.
Nice work if you can get
exactly. If you can be a chairman of a company, highly recommend it, because you will make a lot of money and do nothing. So Gary is the third generation of Dakes to helm this company. Okay. The company has long believed in employee ownership, kind of what we were talking about at the top.
Yep.
Any employee who works more than 1,000 hours a year becomes eligible for this kind of stock. In 2017, the company is said to have contributed $11 million to this program. Now,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty damn decent. According to Stewart's, 1,000 of its roughly 4,500 workers have a balance of over $100,000, like we were saying, and nearly 70 have a balance greater than $1 million. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's great, man. Like, I mean, again, like you were saying, like, you probably are fucking grinding your bones to dust, but it's better to do that and have some money to show for it than grinding your bones to dust for, Starbucks. Don't think you're going to become you're not going to check an M from that. So anyway, that is what I have. I
got some more.
But you have more. I know you got.
I got some more to sprinkle on top, if you will. And yeah, I'll say just kind of on that, kind of the origin story, like all throughout their 100-year span of being around, like it's you just talked about them like acquiring a company. They did it. They've done a lot of like acquisitions like that. That's how they, I think, ended up. They were going to buy out a particular store. I forget in what town. They're like, well, you have to sell gas to buy us out. I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. We'll like figure that out. So now they're a gas station too. On top of that,
sure.
I think that was in like the 70s. And then they add coffee, they add seating, they add like chili, so it's a restaurant now. They just kind of like slowly keep growing out from just ice cream to all these other things. And yeah, it's this look, if you if you look at pictures of a Stewart's, you'd be like, what the fuck is Rob talking about? It's just a convenience store. But I can't. It's one of those things where I think you have to be there, or just be in those like communities to understand kind of like the importance they hold in them. Like the number one thing you'll see if you Google Stewart's shops is like Stewart's closing. It's like a fucking big deal if one goes out, because then there's like nothing. There's like a vacuum there,
sure,
for a lot of things. And when they go in, it's a big deal too. Similar to like Wegmans, like most of the stories are around them opening or closing. And like there was one town where the local grocery store closed, and like, thank God Stewart's is actually going to open up a location now. This is great.
Right.
And it's going to be like a more expanded, newer version to like accommodate that town, which is nice. But now that we have some history, let's talk a little bit about Stewart's accolades.
All right.
Because they're doing a mix of things, but I would say their dairy production is like the big hallmark of what they do, at least for a lot of upstaters, from what I can tell, and I've sampled it myself. It's all pretty good from what I've had. And again, like I was on the Albany Reddit.
Love it.
And everyone's like, this is the best ice cream. Come fight me.
And I will murder anyone who thinks otherwise.
Yeah. It's very much ride or die for Stewart's
coward.
ice cream. And to a lesser degree, their coffee, but people are like big fans of that. But 2022, they are awarded Best Milk in New York State at the New York State Fair by Cornell University's Department of Food Science, who conducts the testing, I guess, the competition. They collect multiple samples of whole milk, 2%, 1%, and fat-free flavored milk and chocolate milk, and they're all scored on various criteria, including best flavor, microbial analysis, fat determination, freezing point, and flavor.
What? Listen, man. I mean, you know what? If you got the grant and they give you the money for it, hey, you know what? If you like, I
mean, this is hosted by the New York State Fair. So, Jim, do you know where that money came from? I think it came from us.
Right.
that's what
this feels.
Which, you know what? I'm okay for. Let's get some more dairy competitions going.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Fire it up. Let's get it going, baby.
But it doesn't end there, Jim.
No.
At the 2022 World Dairy Expo, they took...
Oh, so they went worldwide.
Oh, yeah. World Dairy Expo, they took first place in not quite worldwide, because the category was for North American Best Peanut Butter Ice Cream, but they did take first place in that category for their Pandemonium... or peanut butter pandemonium ice cream. They got some second and thirds as well. Then 2023 New York State Fair again. They take best milk 2 years in a row, but also they get best flavored milk, best chocolate ice cream, and best open class ice cream in New York State. Pretty impressive stuff.
Golly. I mean, listen, this is this is one of those situations, right, where like if one is lactose intolerant, this is look at what you're missing out on, right?
Yeah,
you've really missed the proverbial zenith that Stewart Shops has achieved. But
it's
you
true.
know, here you are.
That's right. I mean, I think you can still appreciate the vertical integration aspect.
Sure.
From a business standpoint. But yeah, I'll say on one drive back, it's like a 5-hour drive if there's bad traffic from the Adirondacks back to New York. City, and I was like, I'm gonna get a chocolate milk. Why not? I'm feeling like a chocolate milk today, which I'll say I don't do much as a man in his mid 30s, but I'm really glad I did because
listen, you're grown. You buy whatever you want, dude.
That's true. You know what? That's true. But this is without knowing. Like at this point, I love Stewart's, but I don't know the like whole dairy associated background. I was like, weird. They have their own branded chocolate milk. Jim, it was one of the best goddamn chocolate milks I've ever had. Certainly in New York State, as their accolades would tell you. But I still think about that chocolate milk. Absolutely.
My thing is this, man. Absolutely. Like, you have to be a really good milk, right? To win an award. Because like,
yeah,
I would understand like, okay, so like I get like a chicken like winning like best wings, right? Because like it's just like damn, like those wings are great, and you go out. Nobody goes out to like, yo, let's go out and have a couple glasses of milk, man. Like you're good for one, maybe in a day. Like no one's knocking back glasses of milk, right? So like to be able to it takes. I feel like it takes a real lot of quality to win this award because.
I mean, it's like scientific. It's a scientific test that includes taste, right?
Sure.
But like Cornell's food science department, which is actually, I can't remember how I know this, but the food sciences at Cornell is like one of the best in the world. I think like Cornell invented the chicken nugget, which is
interesting,
perhaps a topic for. Future episodes, if I'm not mistaken, but I do believe I'm going to fact check it, and if I'm wrong, no one will ever hear it, but it will stay in if it's correct. But Cornell has a very prestigious food science department, I do believe. Let's see. Yeah, we're just moving through some different little tidbits here, different little sprinkles of information. Like you mentioned, they do have a lot of upstate-themed names for their ice cream. They got the Adirondack Bear Paw. It's sweet praline cashews surrounded by gooey caramel swirls on a panorama of vanilla perfection. Also, Crumbs Along the Mohawk, which is inspired by a film called Drums Along the Mohawk. I'm not familiar with that movie. That's a graham cracker flavored ice cream held together with more caramel. And we got the Katie Ross. Do you know? Have you heard of this? I think it's a river or a creek in Greenfield. KD, spelled Kayde. Cateross. Cateross.
I'm
gonna take.
I have never heard of that. Not to say it doesn't exist. I just haven't. I haven't heard of it.
Well, it's a creek, and it's got a ice cream named after it. That's a orange vanilla swirl.
Well, I'm looking at the notes here, and like, this looks like pretty fucking banging ice cream. Yeah, I could see how this might slap, as they might say.
Look, we're gonna have to swing by a Stewart's on our way to Speedy Fest / Serling Fest 2024, and we're just gonna be scooping that ice cream.
I know that's right.
For a couple hours.
Well, listen, I've the more I've learned.
Well, Jim, there's even more. I got
I was gonna say, give me some more.
We talked a lot about vertical integration, right? And they love to use that word in their like advertising. They have a pretty fascinating, deep like newsletter archive, which I went deep into. I didn't find this there, but they at one point. This is in 2004. Stewart's. Again, they have their own gas company. They have their own milk production facilities. They deliver it. They do all these things. And they're like, hey, what if we had our own insurance company? and we insured ourselves for liability. And New York State said, how about no?
Right.
But again, this is very similar to like what they did in terms of their like milk vertical integration. They like tried to do, interestingly, the same thing with with insurance, where they essentially, so they created this company, Black Ridge Insurance Company, which handled their like liability, and they paid their insurance premiums to their own company, and they tried to deduct those on their taxes. And that's where New York State was like, oh, no. You can't do that.
I'm just smart enough to know that sounds like embezzlement, right?
Yeah. Well, but so here's the thing. It was part of that was to pay out liability off of someone who had embezzled money. They like part of setting up this insurance company, it was after they had an embezzlement issue.
See, like, I mean, there you go. Right. Like,
what were they doing? It didn't work out. New York State said, not so fast, Stewarts.
Yeah.
we're going to need that money back. And this was like, this all got settled in like 2019. So a decade well after the fact. Like they kept appealing it and stuff. But they, that one didn't work out so well.
And it's great that like none of this, like we are trying to like skirt the law or skirt paying for it, like just like this insular activity has not damaged the reputation of Stewart's shops at all. Like, people like, I don't even know if anybody even fucking knows this, right? But regardless of the fact, you know, as you were saying, like this has heavy Wegmans energy. Like people are like, I fuck with this, and I don't give a fuck what they do. These are my people.
Yep. It's and I'll end on. I like had to dig for this. This is like a pretty interesting story to like swing it in the other direction a little bit more positive. They were going to like move a store in New Paltz to a new location. They had bought a plot of land that had a house on it, and the plan was to demolish this house. I think it had been vacant for a long time, but it's like a pretty old house. They're going to just demolish it and build a new building and move an existing store there. And it turned out that this house, or not even turned out, like people in town knew this, but that house was one of the first homes owned by a black person in New Paltz and like in upstate New York. This was back when like that was a difficult. There were like laws that didn't like didn't let
redlining
people do that.
Like
not even redlining. Just like this is 1829, or he was born in 1829.
Oh, so just outright discrimination.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. 100%. So like this house is incredibly significant, and like he was his name was Richard Oliver. He was like the first owner of this house. So it was like, it is very much his house. And again, really significant history for New Paltz, and someone just like, they threw it out there. Just, they felt like it was a long shot, to try and preserve the house to Stewart's, and there's like, hey, can you guys not demolish it? And Stewart's was like, oh fuck no, we'll donate it to you. So they donated it for $1, and it's now going to be dude,
that's fucking great.
Like I think the house might, I don't know if it's going to be on that same plot of land or if it's going to get moved, but like, it's basically become a black like cultural center in New Paltz now, and like pretty crazy to, like I think in 9 times out of 10 that building would just be flattened. Right?
I mean, I'll say this. Well, first, good on you, right? Because I definitely saw this going left. pretty quickly. What I would also offer, though, and I think there's a couple things happening at once here. One is Stewart's, I think, saw the storm ahead. Had they fucking demolished it, and again, their sterling reputation and their loyalty to the customers and the people, etc., I think put them ahead of what potentially could have been horrible PR and horrible press if they were like, yeah, well, fuck this piece of history. We just gonna go ahead and give you guys some ice cream out of it. So either, and the cynic in me wants to believe that that's what it is. The optimist wants to say that perhaps there was like a decent person there. It's like, maybe we shouldn't destroy this, but who knows? I'll never know.
Indeed. We're just gonna have to go to Stewart's.
Yeah. Well, I'll go to the Dake family and say, hey, so did you guys do this because it was the right thing, or you knew that you would be fucked if you didn't? What's your answer here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: there's one news article about it. They at least didn't make a PR stunt out of it.
Sure. They
just did it. So I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's now dubbed the Dr. Margaret Wade Lewis Black History Culture Center.
I can dig that.
Which is
that's
nice.
Fucking great, man. Salute to that.
There we go. Well, what topic are we going to be saluting next week?
Oh my gosh. Listen, I am very excited about what's going to happen next week. I don't know if I have a full-on pun ready to go, but I should say this. You could put your robes on when you listen to this episode next week.
Can I just say that is the exact pun I was developing my brain when you said, I don't know if I have one. I was like, something with robes.
Yeah. Listen, you know what? It's not Jim Jelly Studios. I'll tell you that.
It's true.
It is Jim.
It's Jim Jam, baby.
You already know it. The Barry Gordy of podcasting in my day, I was.
There we go.
Anywho.
There we go. Well, Jim, let's say you've just filled up your car on some gasoline and you filled yourself up with some of New York's finest milk and ice cream.
And then went to one of the finest bathrooms immediately after that and turned it into a less than stellar bathroom because milk and ice cream are going to run through me like a track star. But you're true. Okay, so let's say all that happens.
What are you gonna? What's something you can throw on as you're driving to Binghamton for a particular stand-up show held at Stellar Human on March 23rd? I hope I got that date.
You did. What a great seamless plug in there for my album, Upstate Understandings. Classic comedy album, my debut album, is available at jimsearch.bandcamp.com. And when you listen to it and you hear the crystal precision of my voice, know that that's not my doing entirely. And that is the expert hand of Rob Adler, who did the production. Goodness. Yeah, I said it. I'm not afraid to say it either. So go pick that up. And again, if you pick up one, you can always pick up another one. They make great gifts because, you can get someone a gift just because. And there's a lot of great merch there as well. Make sure you go to jimsearchcomedy.com, because I got a bunch of dates, over there at some point. It'll be great. And also, hey, listen, you know what? Pull up to Stellar Human for Stellar Presents. March 23rd, show is at 7 o'clock. Doors are at 6:30. It's going to be a great time. We got a couple ticket sales before we started recording, so we're feeling good about that. But pull up, buy tickets. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to headline that show. Stephen Brown's going to host it. Abdul Adi is going to be doing a set. Very funny comic out of Syracuse. Very excited to see him do the show. There's going to be some music as well. So, like, it's going to be a great time, man. Bring your own booze, and we're going to have a blast. Now, speaking of music, right? People like music. They love it. They can't get enough of it. And I know that, Rob, you might have a suggestion for where they might go. Where can they go for some good music?
Look, if you're looking to vertically integrate your musical listening experience, you can find and avoid lawsuits, I should say, right? Just it's vertical integration. It sounds like a good thing, but as long as you do it lawfully, you're going to want to go to brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com, where I have not only, I guess I'm not technically selling the album because Bandcamp's doing it, but like we're partners.
Sure.
We're partners in this. I've composed, created, and recorded, and am now selling this album as a vertically integrated musician. And this album is called New York Sticky. You can go pick it up on brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com. Like I said, it's a collection of disco, go-go, boogie-inspired beats. It's an instrumental album, and it's just it's a good album just to have on while you're hanging out in the house. Maybe folding laundry, maybe doing the dishes, or just hanging out with some friends. It's a great hang.
I can attest to that. I'll just jump in here real quick, if I may, and say that I purchased that album and I listened to it on the beach, and it was fucking great.
I think you might have been the first person to purchase that album.
Hell yeah.
I think so.
Hell yeah.
Now, after you've purchased all the albums and you still want something to do on your phone, you're going to throw open that Apple Podcast app. You're going to subscribe if you haven't already. You're going to rate the show. Then you're going to review it and put in a suggestion for something that you would like us to cover on Understanding Upstate, the podcast. Like if you want to know if chicken fingers were in fact invented at Cornell, you better put it in those reviews.
I'm also excited to see who tells when they in the comments their favorite place in upstate New York. That's what I want to know too. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's the Adirondacks.
I'll tell you for me, Binghamton, New York.
Oh man.
That's right, baby. You know the vibes. 607 Murray Street, stand up.
I feel like I could have guessed that. That's right.
You know that's right.
Well, you know what you probably can't guess?
Me?
You. I thought, not the listener. You and I are having a conversation.
Well, I thought this was one of those like rhetorical to the audience. No, what I can't guess it. Clearly, I can. I didn't even know what you were talking about. So how the fuck am I going to guess what it is?
Well, that's true. You're not going to guess this week's sign-off.
I'm not.
Would you like to hear it?
Of course I would. What do we got?
Jim, we better scoop up some ice cream so we can get on out of here. Not my best.
They don't get better than that.
I think that's maybe the second week in a row I've used your opening pun in my closer, and I don't feel great about it. Recycling's good in general, but in comedy, I don't know.
Yeah, that's they have a term for that, I think.
That's true. They do.
They frown on it.
It's true.
People frown on it.
Luckily, I'm not a comedian.
No. I've been allegedly told that one. So.
Well, on that note.
Peace.
See ya.
Understanding Upstate is a podcast hosted by Jim Search and Rob Adler, edited by Rob Adler, and music from Regal Monk.